So the fourth roster update of NBA 2K22 dropped today. I'm going to break down all the major changes in this video. Before the video starts, please be an OG, join the pack and subscribe, and leave a like on the video to help the video grow. Let's get the video started. I'm not starting with the Philadelphia 76ers this time. I'm starting off with the Wizards because someone asked me to go reverse for once, so that's what I'm going to do, right? The Washington Wizards. The first thing to talk about is Bradley Beal -2 and Spencer Dinwiddie -1. Spencer Dinwiddie specifically has been very, very bad. In fact, I think he should get a -2 more than Bradley Beal should have. But this team is not performing as well as they started the year off, which is sad because I think all of us wanted to see them succeed this year, but it is what it is. They're starting to slow down a little bit. The next one is one a lot of you were begging for, and that is Gary Payton II. He gets a +5 overall. +5 from a 72 to a 77, making him one of the best players on the team. Now, I'm surprised there's no Jordan Poole update. I think he should be at least in the 80 overall club, but there was no change for him. For the Trailblazers, okay, so we have Ben Macklemore, who gets +4 in this roster update. And we also get Dennis Smith Jr. +2. This team is struggling, as all of you know, and I think they're trying to give other players on this team a chance to see if they can do something, right? And that's what we're seeing. So for the Timberwolves, Ant goes -1, which is okay because he wasn't putting up the numbers he was at the start of the season, but he's still playing well. I don't think he should be downgraded any further. And then Jared Vanderbilt, +2 from a 77 to a 79, making him the 4th best player on this team. This dude has one of the cleanest jump shots in 2K. So I'm happy he's going up. I'm going to use this team a lot more. So for the Thunder, the only thing I could find was Kenrich Williams +1. Besides that, I saw no change with this team at all. So with the Suns, Chris Paul -1, and this is for the first time. It makes Devin Booker the by far best player on the Suns this season. I have said for the past 2 years now that Devin Booker is the best player on this team, and I think 2K finally has come around to that, right? JaVale McGee +2, absolutely deserved. He's been great all year. I'm surprised it took him this long to update him because he's deserved it all year long. So for the Spurs, Derek White +2, making him almost the 3rd best player on this team. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year he is, because he's finally playing well, which is massive for the Spurs. They need him to start picking it up, and these 3 to get better fast if they want to do anything in the near future. Okay, so a couple names here on the Rockets. Garrison Matthews goes +3, so making him the 5th best player on the team. He's been having an amazing stretch, averaging 16 points in the past 10 games. Armani Brooks also goes +3, another player that's been playing well. And Josh Christopher also goes +3. So 3 players on the Rockets that go +3. Again, this always usually happens with teams that are bad because they give all these players chances to grow, and that's what's basically happening. So, from my understanding, the only upgrade I found on the Raptors was Yuta Watanabe +1, and that was literally it, which is very odd. I would have thought at least another player would have gone up, but no, but Yuta's good. I like Yuta Watanabe. Every half of a year, he goes up +1. He started off at like a 72, he's going up to 75. Who knows? He might be really good soon. So, for the Pistons, we have Sadiq Bey going down -3. So he went from an 80 overall at one point this season to a 75. That's a big, big difference. He's going to need to find that consistency. And then Cade Cunningham +1. So until Jeremy Grant comes back, Cade is the best player on the Pistons. So for the Pelicans, Devontae Graham -2, which is crazy because he just hit that game winner, which is hilarious to me. And then Brandon Ingram +1, getting him closer to the best player on the team. I think he should end up being tied at the end of the year with Jonas Valanciunas because he's been playing very well the past 10 games. So Sabonis +1, Brogdon -1. I feel like these two are stuck in an infinite loop of going up and down by 1 for the past 2 years, and it's just continuing. So for the Denver Nuggets, Monte Morris +3, making him the 3rd best player on this team. This is one of the better playmakers in the NBA in terms of not turning it over and getting people open, right? So that's huge for him. And also sad that this team has like no help for Jokic if you really think about it. And Zeke Naji goes +3 as well. So big upgrades for the Nuggets. For the Brooklyn Nets, James Harden -2. I'm surprised. I feel like he was going to stay at a 91 all season. So him going down is a surprise for sure. But okay. All right, this is the first time James Harden's been out of the 90 overall club in a really long time. It's really weird to see. So for the Mavericks, the only change I found was Maxi Kleber -1. Besides that, I saw literally nothing. For the Orlando Magic, Franz Wagner +3. Putting him in the 80 overall club for the first time in his career. He is damn good. He's already better than his brother. It's crazy. And then Wendell Carter Jr. -1, making him Tyler Cole Anthony as the best player on the Magic. When you really look at the Magic, they have a lot of young talent, and they're in a good place. But we also said that 6 years ago, so who knows? So, man, Russell Westbrook -1. I am convinced at this point it's on purpose. I'm convinced at this point they do it on purpose now, because you can't tell me after the last 10 games how he's been playing that he goes down. I do not know if this is a joke or not, and I refuse to even acknowledge it anymore, 2K. I just refuse. So for the New York Knicks, who've been struggling, Quentin Grimes goes +3 because he's starting to get minutes and he's actually performing pretty well, which is great to hear. And Emmanuel Quickly -3. So for the Kings, Harrison Barnes -1 again. He's just been plummeting ever since the start of the season. I take back everything I said about him, and he's still doing exactly what I thought he was going to do. So whatever. Buddy Hield -1 as well, dropping off the 80 overall club for the first time in a while. So for the Utah Jazz, we go Donovan Mitchell +1. I still argue to this day that they need to have the same rating of Rudy Gobert. They need to be tied for the best player on the team. For the Hornets, a lot of changes. Cody Martin +2. Oubre +2. Gordon Hayward +1. I mean, upgrade after upgrade. Everybody on this team has been eating. Everyone at one point this season has been averaging 20. LaMelo, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre. All these players at one point have averaged 20 points this season for a span of 10 games. It's insane. This team is stacked in terms of like how deep they are. I'm impressed with this team by far. So for the Heat, I'm actually really happy with this one. PJ Tucker +3. There you go, 2K. I have said that players who are primary defenders do not get enough love in this game, and I think for the first time they acknowledge that. PJ Tucker absolutely deserves this, and maybe even more. He is an essential piece to any team that he plays on. Also, Max Strus goes +2, making him tied with Gabe Vincent. Massive upgrade for this team. So for the Hawks, Danilo Gallinari +2. He did this last year where he started off the season really slow and then he started picking it up again, and that's what he's doing with the Atlanta Hawks. So for the Grizzlies, major upgrades everywhere. So Jaren Jackson Jr. +2. He has been averaging 25 points in the last 10 games without Ja Morant, and they're fourth in the West. It's literally insane. Desmond Bane +2, making him the third best player on this team, and if you've watched him play, dude is amazing. He deserves it. DeAnthony Melton +3. This is a long time coming. He was averaging like 23 points in the first 10 games and then averaging like 18 in the last 10. He's still been fantastic all season. So for the Clippers, this one's kind of crazy. So first, Paul George -1, which is weird because they have a pretty good record. So I'm a little surprised here. Isaiah Hartenstein is the only other person who gets an upgrade in this team with a +1, making him the second best player on the Clippers. And aren't they like 6th in the West? And Hartenstein's your second best player? That's crazy. That's crazy. This is an MVP candidate then, if that's the case. So Jaylen Brown and Al Horford -2. I'm surprised there's no Dennis Schroeder upgrade, so very surprising there, but a couple downgrades here. Man, for the Cavs, who have been so surprising this year. Jared Allen +1, deserved. Darius Garland +1, deserved. Kevin Love +1, putting him back in the 80 overall club. He's been going up and up. Man, this team's crazy. No one expected this team to be as good as they are, and that's because all these people have been playing so well. So the Bulls, so first of all, no upgrade for either player, which is very odd. Lonzo -1, whatever, sure. Nikola Vucevic -1, that's a surprise because he's been playing well lately. Very weird team decisions, very weird roster changes. I'm not sure about this one. So we have Chris Middleton -1, deserved. Drew Holiday has not gone up, which is crazy, and Pat Connaughton +1. I would have never guessed Pat Connaughton ever in his career would be in the 80 overall club, but here we are. He's been amazing this season. And finally, we end off with the Philadelphia 76ers. Tobias Harris -1. His production has not been as good as it was at the start of the season. And finally, kind of a crazy one, Matisse Thybulle, an elite defender, goes -2. Sure, he may not be scoring as much as he was at the start of the season, but he's still been clamping up. Very surprising. But okay, those are all the major changes. What do you think that's surprising? Leave it in the comments below. If you like the channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.